Hey everyone, and welcome back to MMA Alerts. Today, let's start with Sean O'Malley's threat to release video. There is a fight going on between bantamweight champion Sugar Sean O'Malley and flyweight king Alexandre Pantoja before this weekend's UFC 301 card in Brazil. In a new video on his YouTube account, O'Malley's coach Tim Welsh talked about a time when O'Malley and Pantoja sparred a long time ago before O'Malley was in the UFC. He said that O'Malley dropped Pantoja with a liver shot right after they started training. Fans immediately asked Welsh and O'Malley to make video of their fight public. Then O'Malley went on social media to show a picture of the moment, which shut down the doubters. People have talked a lot about O'Malley and Ilia Topuria possibly getting into a fight in the future. The latest events could lead to a fight between O'Malley and Pantoja. The next thing we'll look at is Alex Pereira's next UFC fight. Alex Pereira said before UFC 300 that he wanted to fight at UFC 301 in Brazil right away after beating Jamal Hill so that he could try to beat Ronda Rousey's record for the shortest time between successful title defenses. An injury kept him from booking a fight at UFC 301, but Pereira told the media, including MMA Fighting, through a translator about his next fight before the UFC 301 show this weekend. He said he doesn't want to wait for Magomed Ankalaev to be ready to fight. Ankalaev had already said that he wants to fight Pereira in Abu Dhabi. Of course, the next event in Abu Dhabi is UFC 308, which is at the end of October. It looks like the UFC will likely give Pereira his wish for a fight in the meantime. Moving on, let us look at Ilia Topuria puts an end to reports. I recently heard that Ilia Topuria turned down a fight with Alexander Volkanovski for the UFC's upcoming pay-per-view show in Perth at the end of the summer. This was said by longtime UFC commentator Joe Rogan. The featherweight champion got a lot of bad press about the situation, so he had to clear the air. Topuria wrote on social media, "I never turned down the rematch with Alex because the UFC has never offered me this fight. I'll be the first person to knock out Max Holloway, as I've said many times before. Let's keep things easy. Are you ready to fight? There is no more to talk about if the answer is yes. Please bring my belt and your pillow." Topuria was backed up by Alexander Volkanovski, who said he had never heard of talks about a possible fight between Topuria and him for UFC 305 and didn't know where Rogan's information came from. He told Fox Sports Australia that since Volkanovski wants to take some time off before getting back into action, a fight between Topuria and Holloway later this year seems like the next obvious step. Let's change topics and look at UFC fight updates. Before the UFC 301 show this weekend in Brazil, a big featherweight fight was set for the July 27th Uruma 27th UFC 304 card. People really like Arnold Allen and Giga Sikatsi, and this fight will be between them. Both are trying to get closer to a shot at the title. In his last two fights, Allen has lost by decision to Max Holloway and Movsar Evloev. He will be looking to get back on track. After losing to Evloev not long ago, Allen is currently ranked 6th by the UFC going into the fight. On the other hand, Sikatsi will be trying to build on his win over Bruce Leroy in August, which brought him back to winning after losing to Calvin Kattar in January 2022. Sikatsi is ranked as the 10th best featherweight going into the fight. He is hoping to get back on track after having only 2 fights since 2022. The event is scheduled for July 27th in Manchester, England. The main event and co-main event have not been officially announced yet, but Leon Edwards is expected to defend his welterweight title as the main event, and Tom Aspinall will defend his interim heavyweight title as the co-main. Someone from the UFC is fired by Dana White. You may have seen on social media that Mahmoud Muradov was fired from the UFC, but he doesn't know why. Like you, I learned today that I am no longer a UFC boxer. Yes, I was a little shocked. I wrote to my boss, we'll see what goes better. It doesn't bother me. We are going to find out why. Let's see what comes next. Things keep going. It's fun. Thank you all so much for your help. I have no idea why, but it's real. I'm like you. I have no idea why. I'm no longer in the UFC, but I'm not giving up on sports. 3 or 4 good offers came in 30 minutes, Muradov said in a post on his social media. We're going to Brazil this week for UFC 301. You won't want to miss this card that is stacked. Every time we work with DraftKings Sportsbook to make sure you can join in the fun. Right now, anyone who signs up and bets even $5 will get $200 in bonus bets right away. Use the coupon code MMA Alert when you sign up for the DraftKings app. You have the crown. Yes, you heard me right. If a new customer bets just $5 on any fight, they will get $200 in bonus bets right away. Use your $200 bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays to stay in the game and have a chance to win even more money. You can bet on more than one thing about the same fight at once, like how many rounds it will have and how the winner will be decided. The more bets you put together, the more you can win. Don't worry if you can't bet on sports yet in your state. With DraftKings Daily Fantasy, you can join in on the fun and have a chance to win cash prizes. Get the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. If you're a new customer, use the coupon code MMAlers to bet just $5 on any bet and get $200 in bonus bets right away. Use the coupon code MMAlers only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Now let's look at Paige Van Zandt going off on a Dylan song. Hi, Danis. More and more mixed martial arts MMA athletes have said they want to switch to boxing in recent years. Things were like this before Conor McGregor's big fight with Floyd Mayweather. Since then, more and more MMA fighters have been looking for chances in boxing, like Francis Ngannou's fight with Tyson Fury. Misfits Boxing recently talked to Paige Van Zandt, an MMA fighter who now fights bare knuckle. They asked her about MMA fighters who want to switch to boxing. Dylan Danis was used as an example of a fighter who did switch to boxing but didn't have a good experience. The grappler responded by sharing a screenshot of Van Zandt posting an emoji under an Instagram photo years ago with the words, "How quickly they forget." Van Zandt laughed at the similarity and said that Danis isn't a fighter. Okay, Paigey baby, calm down. Being rude because I didn't marry you doesn't mean I'm weak. Don't make me talk about our 2 trips to Vegas because it could ruin your relationship. In an Instagram video, Van Zandt responded to Danis with a harsh message. We haven't heard back from Danis yet, but she has been talking about on social media. Having 2 failed drug tests. On Twitter, Dylan Danis told Paige Van Zandt, "You're crying in that video because you know I have receipts. You saw pictures of your A and bad jobs because you were a bad fighter and have to pay your husband who hasn't paid you back." A lost fighter turned to fans who aren't even willing to pay for them. "You must have forgotten why I asked you to peg me because the room smelled like all the male gym members who have NDU. Your husband doesn't love you because you're unique. He was the only idiot who said yes. You married him because I was too smart to marry a jerk." It's shocking news from Charles Oliveira. After Arman Tsarukyan beat him by decision at UFC 300, former lightweight king Charles Oliveira is no longer in the running for the title. Dubrans has said that he wants to fight again as soon as possible, but he's already planning his next fight. According to Oliveira, who talked to reporters, including MMA Fighting through a translation, he has offered to be Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor's backup fighter in the big UFC 303 fight this summer. Oliveira hasn't been given the chance by the UFC yet, but he's ready to take it if it comes up. The previous champion did say that he has one condition: if he is asked to fight Conor McGregor, he wants to be able to negotiate more money for himself. He said he was willing to be the backup for that fight, which makes sense since he's up for it. If he doesn't fight, he said he'll make some money. If he does fight, that would be great. There is one condition: if he fights McGregor, they will have to talk about that again first. A lot of fans were quick to point out that it doesn't look like either fighter is underweight for a 170-pound fight. Chael Sonnen thinks that even though McGregor is a better fighter than Chandler, that doesn't mean that McGregor is a better partner. The other night on Good Guy, Bad Guy with Daniel Cormier, he said, "I think that Conor McGregor is the better fighter, I believe." Some people say that Conor McGregor is a better fighter than Chandler because he has a more awkward style and is more direct, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can say that. He might have his eye on the ball and the tiger at the same time. At the moment, the MMA world seems to be pretty split. Both McGregor and Chandler have negative odds on how they think the fight will go. McGregor has negative odds of 108 and Chandler has negative odds of 112. Charles Oliveira gets a message from Conor McGregor. A few weeks ago, Charles Oliveira said on his show that he offered to be the backup fighter for the fight between McGregor and Chandler. When told about this in a tweet, Conor McGregor answered, "I use both in the same night. No problem. I use both inside a circle all at once. The magic break worked for me. Rio and Sao Paulo should ask me about my magic. The Wand of Ireland. First thoughts, Anthony, this is it for you. You're not going to beat anyone in the top 5. Tapuja is getting more and more hate every second, LOL. Oh, he's a fool to act like he's been a pro for 10 years. Anthony, now you can call MMA fans dumb. That will really save your job, which is in bad shape. Think about Yuri vs. Hamza. It would be fun to fight over that."